The Harley-Davidson demo truck was parked outside of Motown Harley-Davidson in Taylor, Michigan, and I decided to go out and give some bikes a try. One thing I always encourage newer riders to do is don't just go to dealerships and sit on the bikes, but when there are demo days, take advantage of them. These are great opportunities to actually ride a bike you might be curious about, learn about ones that you didn't even consider. Trying these bikes will really give you a much better sense of not just what kind of motorcycle you might like, but what kind of ride style you might like. This demo day, I rode 5 different bikes, and I'll share some snippets of thoughts that I had during each ride. So without further ado, here we go.
That's for you. We're watching. How you doing, boss? You all right?
How about yourself?
Good to see you, man.
Always a pleasure.
How you doing, young lady?
I'm all right. How are you, sir?
You having fun?
I sure am.
4 fingers on that brake, right?
4 fingers. That's right.
I'm messing with you. You having a good time? It's best, though. If you grab my hand with 2 fingers right now, grab my wrist with 2 fingers.
Oh, yeah.
You got it? No, you don't.
No.
Now grab it with 4. You got it? Yeah, you got me now. Same with your controls.
Got it.
Keep control.
So first of all, shout out to the folks who are running the Harley demo day over at Motown Harley-Davidson in Taylor, Michigan. They were a really nice bunch of folks. Super helpful, super genial. Yeah, it was just a really nice time. I think if you have, stereotypes associated with, Harley culture, that's, neither here nor there, but this experience was really top-notch. Really appreciated what they had to offer. This bike was interesting. It's definitely, unfortunately, was not my favorite of the demo day. And that was primarily due to the ergonomics of the bike. It definitely feels like it's a bike that is designed for somebody with a much longer kind of arm span and leg span, just a taller, bigger person. I feel like with motorcycles, the majority of ergonomic issues can be solved with, aftermarket stuff, new handlebars, different types of pegs, risers, and things like that, different seats. It's not really something I would, take away as a negative for this bike, honestly, if you're somebody who is taller. But just for me, in this moment trying the bike, that was kind of the main issue that stood out as I was riding it. Otherwise, this was a really smooth motorcycle. I mean, it was really nice in the straights. I will say one con of it is that it kind of felt like a rectangle in the turns. Like, it just didn't really have the agility and the nimbleness that I'm used to from some other bikes that I've ridden, including the ones that I own. It's funny, too, because I think the former officer who runs Be the Boss of Your Motorcycle, I'm pretty sure he has a Breakout, or he used to have a Breakout. Maybe he's modded it. Obviously he can ride anything because he's good at riding bikes, so he's probably dragging pegs on this thing. But in this moment, it was just definitely a stiffer, blockier ride than I was used to, and you can kind of get a sense of that watching me take some of these corners. I'm trying to look through it, looking to where I want to go. But it honestly felt like I was trying to push the bike pretty aggressively into those turns, and it was just not ideal. It does look beautiful. That's the biggest pro of this bike. It's just a gorgeous bike, lots of chrome. The rim design is beautiful. The accents, like the design that was put into this motorcycle, really shines through. So if you want a beautiful bike from Harley, I'd say the Breakout is one of many that you can get. So unfortunately, I was not recording when I rode the Heritage, so we just get this pretty picture that I took at the dealership of the Heritage. I really liked this bike. It reminded me a lot of Indian's offering in the Springfield when I rode that for an Indian demo day a couple of seasons ago. Just a really beautiful, buttery smooth ride. Like, it's the kind of bike that, at least for me, I sit on it, like, sure, you feel the weight, but once it's in motion, it just feels so good under you. The handling was fantastic. The handlebars, like, just really nice ergonomics, especially, again, for somebody with shorter arm length. Just I'm 5'3", and I felt just so comfortable. It felt very luxurious and very planted. It was really easy to maneuver around corners. For the demo ride, we were just mostly taking right turns, but I did have a few opportunities here and there to, just do a little slaloms in the lane and kind of feel how it felt to, push the bike around a little bit. And while it did feel a smidge boat-like, it was still very nimble. I mean, it felt like something that would be a lot of fun taking to twisty roads, and then obviously taking it down straights and turning on the throttle a little bit to see what it can do. I'd say overall, biggest thing with this bike, just a very pleasant riding experience, 10 out of 10. Aesthetically, it's either here or there. For me personally, aesthetics is always a personal thing. I think for me it's a little bit too classic, but that's probably not an issue for some other people. And aesthetics are always things that you can change anyway. But even said, I mean, this was literally the first bike that I rode at this demo day. Like, the guy asked me, hey, what do you want to ride? I turned over, I saw this beautiful sort of pearlescent white bike, and I said, I want to ride the white one. And that was the first bike I rode. Fantastic experience. Really love this bike.
This is Lowrider X, baby.
So yes, as I said, this is the Lowrider S. I feel like this is sort of the iconic, solo rider motorcycle. I think the closest Indian equivalent that I can think of is probably the Scout or the Scout Bobber, maybe. Maybe there's something below that I'm not thinking of at the moment. And I'm sorry to keep comparing to Indian. It's just because, the Indian demo day was the last demo day where I really got to try a whole lot of bikes in a pretty short period of time, and had a blast and would do it again. And same with this Harley demo day. So yeah, the Lowrider S. Starting on those pros, I mean, it's a motorcycle. It did what it's supposed to do on the package. I sat on it. It was very comfortable. I felt very held. The ergonomics, so this felt like it was somewhere in between one of the other bikes that I rode, maybe like the Street Glide or the Heritage, and a little bit of the Breakout, whereas like the handlebars were kind of far out, but not so much that it felt uncomfortable. I remember on the Breakout, it felt uncomfortable. And on this one, it was just like, oh, okay, it's far out. It's nothing that, some risers can't solve pretty quickly. Overall, just a very agreeable motorcycle. And one thing I forgot to mention earlier on in this video, so if you kind of look on the handlebars, what I didn't realize Harley does a little bit differently is they have the turn signals on either side of the handlebars. So when you want to turn left, your thumb goes to hit the left button. When you want to go to the right, your thumb goes to hit the right button. And I thought it was super intuitive. Felt very comfortable. And this was something that I forget which motorcycle it was, unfortunately, but maybe it was just that the housing was kind of far away from my short little baby thumb, so I couldn't exactly press it very easily. So that's just something to be aware of if you ever, plan to go look at one of these bikes. You'll see it pretty quickly for yourself. But I did think that was a really cool feature because I haven't seen that. I don't think Indian has that on their bikes, and I don't have any on any of mine. I have 2 Triumphs and my CB750, and it's all just the standard left thumb turn signal situation. Outside of that, any cons? I'm looking at my notes. I literally have no cons for this bike. I mean, it's just, it does what it's supposed to do. It's very comfortable. It's very sporty. It looks fantastic. Like, I love this red colorway that they had at the demo day. I believe this bike also comes with an option for a fairing, like a few more fairings on it. I think I had the option to ride that one, and I just skipped it because I wanted to try this one because it looked a little... There's like this weird sort of psychological thing with motorcycles where it looks lighter when there's not as many fairings on it, and because it looks lighter, it feels more accessible to ride. I think this kind of happened with the Street Glide, which I'll get into, because I remember I was sitting on that, and one of the guys running the demo was like, oh, do you want to try the bike next to you, which was the Street Glide Ultra, I think? And I was like, I'm gonna pass because it's got too much plastic on it. And he's like, it's the exact same bike, it just has fairings on it. So yeah, I don't know, that's a tangent to say that I rode the Lowrider S with no fairings, and it was a great ride, but it does also come with fairings if that is something you're interested in. As a wrap up for this one, great bike, awesome, good ride, no complaints. 10/10, would ride again.
Kurt, let me read this. They're gonna go too. Okay.
So here we go. This is the Street Glide Standard, or just the Street Glide, whatever the basic Street Glide is. I rode this bike twice, and I'll tell you why I did it. Because I had a blast on it. I love this motorcycle, and I think it's kind of wild that I like it as much as I do, because I'm not somebody who's really into like big, heavy baggers. And I'll tell you what, this scene coming up from our demo day ride, this is kind of that stretch of road that they let us open the bikes up on. I mean, look at this. Look how much fun this is. This is crazy. Almost 100 miles per hour in fourth gear. I didn't feel a thing. I'm telling you, I didn't feel a freaking thing. It was so smooth. The fairings did their job, but also just the pickup of the bike was really, really impressive. The nimbleness. Like, it's honestly crazy to me how sporty the Street Glide felt, being what it is. Like, it's not a sport bike, obviously. So it was really surprising to me that I had as much fun on it as I did. I definitely think in a future world, future, financial place, I could see myself owning, either something like a Street Glide, because it really was just a ton of fun. Now that I've, owned my 2014 Tiger 800 for a while and, gotten to ride it, over 2,000 miles on it since I've owned it, I enjoy the Tiger's ride style, but I'd love to experience touring on something like this, because I just think it would be a really different ride feel. The sound would be a lot better. I don't really like the sort of jet plane sound of my Tiger. I'm sure that's, it's a preference for some people, but I liked how the Harley sounded. I like how Indian bikes sound. I'd love to have something that had more of a purr, and that just, felt so good. It just felt really good to ride this bike. The biggest downsides with the Street Glide, of course, it's a heavy bike. It's a bagger. It's built like a bagger. You have to have a good understanding of clutch control and friction zone in order to feel comfortable and confident on it. In a scenario where I did have a bike like this, I would definitely take it to a local ride like a pro class, take an advanced MSF course, or see if I can travel down to be the boss of your motorcycle and do some one-on-one practice with it, because it's definitely a learning curve. I don't think it's going to be quite as easy doing, figure eights and things that I'm used to on a bike of this size. I like the prospect of learning how to handle larger motorcycles effectively and efficiently and comfortably. Like, that's exciting to me. And yeah, I just think it would be really cool to give that a shot. So, all things considered, 10 out of 10. If I had the opportunity to ride one of these again, I absolutely would. Alright, last but not least, I rode the Harley-Davidson Pan America. I was really interested in trying this motorcycle because I think it's kind of Harley-Davidson's touring offering, effectively. I own a Tiger 800, the 2014 Tiger 800, so I wanted to try it out and, just see what a different type of touring motorcycle felt like. So at the beginning here, you can kind of see me faltering for a minute on the takeoff, and that's because the clutch bite point was out super far on this bike. It was like almost towards the end, so I was like trying to get it going, trying to feel it moving, and I had my throttle going and nothing was happening. I was just revving in place. So that was sort of the main thing that I had to get used to on this ride, which I think it's going to be my main kind of ding on this motorcycle, and it's just demo bike probs. Overall though, I quite liked the Pan America. A really cool feature of the bike is this basically adaptive suspension. I think it's called adaptive ride height. Basically what it does is it will automatically lower the seat height when the motorcycle comes to a stop, which makes it a lot easier for you to, plant your, 1 foot or both feet on the ground. And then it also continuously will adjust the suspension preload while you're riding. So I feel like I felt this a little bit on the ride. I did kind of make the mistake of standing up on the pegs a couple of times, like I'm used to with my Tiger, and the guy in front of me who was leading, he was like, sit your butt down. He just waved his hand out. He was super nice about it. For the most part, on my Tiger, the suspension is fantastic, so I can just go over bumps like it's no problem. On this, Weirdly, I did feel like there was a couple of straights where there were these kind of humps in the road that we were going over, not like speed humps, just like humps in the concrete. And I could definitely feel it on this bike, which was interesting to me. It wasn't super painful or anything, but given that it is it's adventure bike shaped, so of course I'm going to be doing adventure bike shit on it. But maybe not on the demo bike. Anyway, my point being is that the suspension, this sort of adaptive ride height feature, super cool. This would be a big reason, I think, to check out this bike, especially if you are somebody who is interested in getting into touring or adventure style riding, but are a little bit turned off by the height that these bikes generally have. I might make a video in the future about how I typically handle the height of these bikes, but there's plenty of videos out there if you want to search like short people and adventure bikes or short people and heavy bikes. But that was a really cool feature. The other feature that I thought was super cool of this bike was just the ergonomics. As you can kind of see here, like I'm looking down, the profile of the bike just felt very streamlined as compared to my Tiger, which is definitely on the wider side. Both the tank is wider and the saddle is a lot wider. And on this bike, both were quite narrow, which made it feel super flicky, really nice to kind of hug with my legs and, kind of flick from side to side. Really nice in turns. The ergonomics were really nice, so I quite appreciated that. It did feel a little bit long, but because it is a taller bike and the handlebars are kind of closer to you, the length of the bike really didn't feel like a problem at all. Like it wasn't like riding the Breakout where I felt stretched out, between the handlebars and the seat. This was overall a very, very comfortable ride. I'm glad I tried it out. I'd love to try more motorcycles that are, touring or adventure bikes. A couple that I'm looking to test ride in the future are from Moto Guzzi, specifically the Moto Guzzi Stelvio, the V85 TT850, and the V100 Mandello. I'm just really curious to see how those bikes feel and, see if there's any potential of exploring other touring and adventure options outside of the tried and true and reliable Tiger.